Hey, hey, hey. How are y'all doing? Let me make sure I get all set up. So I missed y'all. Make sure. Go live here. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm going live a little earlier than usual. So hopefully I have to change the time on some of these. Bear with me as I get set up. All right, Twitter might not work this time. It's cool. All right, we're good on here. Let me get Instagram going. Twitter just gonna be shorts today. All right, I think we're all up and running. So, hey, y'all, how are you? Happy Friday! It's Finance Friday Live. So, I am your weekly dose of personal finance news, what's going on. And I missed y'all. I haven't done this in at least 2 weeks because I was on vacation. And I will say I had the time of my life, but I did miss y'all. And apparently, I missed a lot of the news that came out. So we have a lot to cover today. Hey, your mom. If you're here, definitely shout out. Hey, Jazz. If you're here, shout out. Let me know you're here. Love interacting. But we have a lot to cover. Okay. So let me just hold on one moment. All right. Let me do this here. All right. So I hope y'all ready. Lots going on in the world of personal finance. Let's start with, we're going to go back to August 3rd, okay? So, August 3rd, the news came out that Equifax issued the wrong credit scores for millions of consumers. What? So, I don't know if you had heard about that yet, but if not, now you know. Equifax sent lenders incorrect credit scores for millions of consumers in the spring, and a technology snafu. So something went wrong with their technology. And so that is horrible because that has a major real world impact. Could you imagine you're going to get a loan? Let's say you're going to get a mortgage, right? And they pull your credit score and it's nothing like what you thought it was. And it had nothing to do with anything that you did. It was just the company gave them the wrong score and now you're declined. So that's how big the implications could be in something like this. And that happened. They didn't specify any dates or figures, so how many people were affected, what dates this was for, unfortunately, because then people could have went back and said, okay, I applied during that time, maybe I need to go back to that creditor or what have you. They didn't give us any of that information. They just said that about 12% of all credit scores released from March 17th to April 6th may have been incorrect. So if you did apply for something during that time, it may be worth going to talk to the lender, credit card company, mortgage company, car loan company, and letting them know that, it may have been inaccurate if they use Equifax. Now, keep in mind that not all lenders use all bureaus, so they may or may not have used Equifax. So that would, I guess, be your first question. And then if they did, see if they'll give you opportunity to run it again, since this was not your doing. So I just wanted to let y'all know about that. And that news came out August 3rd. So definitely go back if you feel like you're affected, go back and check on that. Now, today when I was reading some of the news, home sales have fell nearly 6% in July as the housing market is now sliding into a recession. Now, we've been talking about recessions and stuff a lot here lately this year. And no doubt about it that we are currently in a recession. The housing market, it was bound to do this. So I'm not really too worried. I've been talking to y'all about it quite a bit. But this happens all the time where markets, whether it's housing, stocks, whatever, they go up and down. That's just the nature of the beast. And we knew that homes were very inflated. Home prices were very inflated. So it had to come down at some point. And that's why I was, always saying, if you're looking for a house, and it's getting out of your price range or whatever, just wait. It'll come down. So now home sales are falling. Therefore, people aren't selling or people aren't looking to buy anymore. So now is the time really to hop in if you were looking to buy, because now sellers might be getting desperate because nobody wants their house. So the housing market is now officially in a recession as well. It says sales dropped about 20% from the same month a year ago, and this is in this is July's data. So they have dropped 20% from July of last year. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are looking to buy a home. It's starting to come down some from the beginning of the year. It was getting ridiculous. I was thinking about selling at the beginning of the year because the price was so good. But now it's going to start coming down. So if you're looking, now might be the time. And also keep in mind when it comes to buying homes, usually the winter months are very slow. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a real estate agent, but this is what I've heard over the years, that the winter months are pretty slow. So that's kind of when you can get a good deal or find something. So keep that in mind. Moving on. This I thought was crazy. Okay. So y'all know how the government just hired like 86,000 IRS agents. And, we were all thinking, oh, they about to go after the PPP people, PPP loans, people that abused all the 2020, 2021 government stimulus, all that stuff. But they are also arming the IRS. Now, for those that are not in the US, the IRS is the Internal Revenue Service. That's who deals with our taxes and things like that. And some of them will be carrying guns, which I think is very interesting. Hello, Raphael. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that because that's part of the Inflation Reduction Act that President Joe Biden signed Tuesday. It's an act, they call it inflation reduction, but it's a lot of stuff in there. Of course, being that hiring 87,000 more IRS agents and now also buying a ton of guns and arming those agents. I'm like, are they trying to do raids? Like, what's going on? So they just bought a stockpile of 4,600 guns and 5 million rounds of ammunition as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. And I just wanted to bring this up also because it just goes to show that some of these acts where, they get signed into law or a president signs it, sometimes there's some hidden stuff in there. So, even though they, announced the big, they're like, oh yeah, we're doing this, we're student loans, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes there's some hidden stuff in there that will make you be like, huh, if you know about it. Unfortunately, a lot of times we don't even know about what's in there. We just look at what gets sensationalized, which is usually the good stuff for us. But yeah, I have no idea why they are getting so much guns and ammunition. It's actually pretty scary and interesting. But keep an eye on that. The IRS will be packing heat, apparently. So we'll see what comes of that. So moving on. Let me see. Oh, Elon Musk, y'all. Elon Musk. This guy, he is always doing something. Okay. So recently he tweeted, because you know he's always on Twitter, and he said that he's buying Manchester United. If you're not familiar with Manchester United, that is a football, if you're international, soccer, if you're US, team. And once he announced that he was buying the team, of course, the stock market goes crazy, right? Now, then he subsequently tweeted that he was just joking, but this is exactly what happened when he said he was going to buy Twitter. And now he's having to go through legal ramifications about the Twitter purchase that he said that he was going to do. I mean, they signed paperwork and everything, and now he's trying to back out of the Twitter deal. So all of that to say, Elon is always on Twitter talking about something, always talking about what he wants to buy and this, that, and the other. But unfortunately, it affects our markets. So, you know, something to keep an eye on. Yeah, Elon, just hush. I'm sick of it. All right. So getting into security, right? As I saw something come out where Apple has issued a ton of security updates because they said that going all the way back to the iPhone 6S, so pretty much every single iPhone, iPad, computer out on the market right now, MacBooks, whatever, you have to do a security update because there was an issue where it was a vulnerability. So I just wanted to do this as like a public service announcement. If you do have an Apple product, make sure that you're updated to the latest release because all of those releases just came out August 17th and the 18th. So if you haven't updated in a while, now might be the time because these are going all the way back to iPhone 6S, all the iPad Pros, the iPad Airs, iPad 5th generation and later, iPad Minis, iPod Touch, Apple Watches, Mac OS, everything. So make sure that you are protected by getting these updates that they just released. And this actually came from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency that's part of the US government. So this is a big deal. Like this is a big deal. So definitely make sure that you get that taken care of. I'll take a quick break just to see if anybody has any questions so far about any of this stuff. I'm kind of going quick because I'm still trying to keep it short, sweet, and to the point for you. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know you're here, you're tuned in, and all that jazz. But yeah, it's been some crazy stuff happening. And I tried to pick like the stories that would mean the most and also some fun stuff like the Elon Musk. You know, it was just something fun to talk about. But it's been some interesting stuff. The government is doing some interesting stuff. Um, Companies and their security issues. And the crazy part is, we don't hear about a lot of this stuff. That's why I try to make sure I cover a variety because under normal circumstances, this isn't floating around Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and stuff. So let me know if you have questions or if you have anything that you wanted to share about anything I went over. Mm. Oh, something else I wanted to go over. And let me just make sure, because y'all know I like to have my receipts. I don't like to just be talking. Um, so give me just a moment to look something up. Um, do, oh, another thing I saw. If you went to ITT Tech for your degree, that is now another student loan that's getting forgiven. So if you went to ITT Technical Institute, the Biden administration canceled 3.9 billion in student debt for 208,000 people. So that's a lot. So if you went there, definitely check in to see if you qualify for that. Let me pull up this article real quick and see what the requirements if they have Yeah, I think everybody had heard of ITT Tech. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, it doesn't say in this article what the requirements would be to qualify for that. And it says you shouldn't have to apply for the release. So I wonder if with this one, instead of like the other ones that the government was doing, if for this one it's just widespread, where if you went to ITT Tech and you have a student loan from them, it will automatically get canceled. Now, don't quote me, but that's kind of what I'm picking up from reading this article. And it says to date, the Biden Harris administration has approved the cancellation of nearly $32 billion in student loans for 1.6 million borrowers. That's crazy. I'm like, pick me, pick me next. But definitely, if you have student loans, make sure you all are keeping up with what's getting forgiven and stuff because you could be sitting on your student loans and you don't need to. And who wants to sit on debt when you don't have to? So make sure you all are keeping up with that. Okay, so they haven't made an announcement yet about the student loan payment pause because that's another thing that we've all been waiting on to see if they're going to extend it or not. I know when I called my student loan company, because I always tell you, make sure you talk to the people. Just talk to them. It won't hurt, I promise. But you can find out some really good information. And when I talked to my lady, she was like, "Oh yeah, you won't have to pay until like next year, even if they do start it back over because of the type of payment plan I'm on." So when in doubt, just reach out to your provider, your student loan servicer, and see when it will become due. Because I had called them back at the beginning of the year, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you're good until 2023, regardless of what happens with the government." So I was like, "Okay, cool." But the government right now, they haven't made a decision. This article is recent, just came out yesterday. So they still haven't made a decision on if we'll have to start paying August 31st or if they're going to extend it, just do the, blanket extension like they've been doing since COVID. Hopefully, honestly, hopefully they do. And then it leads to just forgiving these dang things because y'all aren't making money anyway because nobody's paying them. You might as well just forgive them. Like just let bygones be bygones. But in all actuality though, and just being real, all jokes aside, this could be detrimental to people's pockets, especially coming out of the whole pandemic situation that we were just in. Because some people's student loans, because I think mine, if I had to pay mine, it was like $500 or $600 a month. Who has that? Who has it? So it could be very detrimental to people's finances. And that's what I was afraid of, like when this all started. But we'll just have to see what happens. But the end of August is supposedly the deadline. So we shall see. Well, I guess that's all for today. I think I gave y'all enough to think about, talk about, ingest. Feel free to look up any of these topics and just educate yourself a little more. There's but so much I can go into on these lives every Friday. But I appreciate you joining in. Definitely tap in on all social media platforms. If you're not following me, right now I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can catch me live every Friday, usually at 12, but I have a meeting at 12 today. So I did it a little early, but I wanted to get that information out there to you. I always keep the replays up, so please dive into the replays. You can find me at moneytalkwitht.com. And I'm just here to be your financial literacy evangelist. All right. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Bye.